it's David Tracy with the Autopian. I'm here at the Zimmerman Automobile Driving Museum, somewhere near Los Angeles, and it's closing. You can see there are a number of people lining up because this museum isn't just about the cool cars inside, which I'm about to show you, but it's about actually giving people the opportunity to ride in these cars and experience them. And as such, this place has done so much for car culture, I'm sure, inspired lots of kids to join the auto industry and probably inspired lots of people to make ill-advised automobile purchases. So thank you, Zimmerman Automobile Driving Museum, for just being great. I'm going to show you, this is the last day. This is it. I'm going to show you the last day of the Zimmerman Automobile Driving Museum. Let's go. This is the second museum whose closure I'm covering in a short period of time, and they're both a result of the passing of the creators, founders. This one, the Zimmerman Museum, is also extremely special, just like the Mullen, and I'm going to show you why. Have a look. What I like about this museum is the variety. The Mullen Automobile Museum was amazing, but it was a little more focused. It was European cars, mostly French cars. This one is a little bit of everything. A lot of American cars. Everything from, this is a Detroit electric, so early electric car. In this room, we've got, there are Pierce Arrows, Packards, Auburns, all sorts of cool American cars. It's mostly American cars. I'm just gonna take you on a little tour. I don't know everything about these cars. I'm 33 years old. These cars are like 100 years old, so give me a little break here. You can sit in an Overland if you're interested. Look, this is a Saxon. Ever heard of a Saxon? Yeah, me neither. 1914 Saxon Model A. It was actually formed by two guys, including a guy named Ford, who wasn't related to Henry. The company it operated from 1908 to 1923 in Detroit. There were lots of car brands in the early 20th century, usually scattered around the American Midwest, Detroit, Kenosha, various, Ohio, and ultimately there was a very quick shrinkage of all those companies into just a few. Check out this old Ford Model T. Look at this hand crank here. I recently hand cranked a Model T. You really have to push it in against that spring, and if the engine is primed, you really can't. All you have to do is just like that. Fires right up. Let's keep rolling. Look at these. Some of these things are boats. This Packard is monstrous. It has a straight 8 engine. If you don't know what a straight 8 engine is, let me show you what a straight 8 engine looks like in the flesh, because they actually have a couple of models. This is absolutely absurd. This is a Packard straight 8 engine. 8 cylinders in a row. Look at how long this is. Try fitting that under the hood of your modern car. Forget about it. Check this out. This is a little more traditional. It's even long for a modern engine. This is a straight 6, and it's a great demonstrator. You can turn this crank, and it shows you the camshaft here pushing up on the valves to open up the intake and exhaust. You can see the crankshaft down here. You can see the pistons from the top. It's just a great little demonstrator to teach folks how engines work. This museum is incredible. Let's keep rolling. Let me show you one of the greatest badges in automotive history. Ford V8 badge. You cannot tell me that's not an absolutely gorgeous badge. Look at it from the side. There's an 8 in the middle of the V, and it just sweeps right up the hood. It is just incredible. You know what else is incredible? You ever heard of you may have heard of the rumble seat. Check this out. Back in the olden days of American auto history, you would have a rumble seat. It essentially looked like a trunk lid. You'd pull it up, you'd have a new seat. There's usually a step on the bumper somewhere to help you get in, but once you close it, it looks sleek. Anyway, incredible, incredible. The Edsel was a failed car brand of the Ford Motor Company. Named after, I want to say, Henry Ford's son, Edsel. This was a brand that only lasted a couple of years, and it was largely because people considered it ugly. I think it looks great. All right, this here is a World War II Jeep. Every car museum has to have a World War II Jeep. It's one of the most iconic cars in American history. And I'm just going to show you one little thing. And I showed my partner here a little trick that helps you tell if this is a Ford or if it's a Willis Overland. So check this out. So if this were a Ford GPW, this crossmember in the front would be a rectangular crossmember. Because it's a round tube, you can see this is a round tube. This is a Willis MB World War II Jeep. Just a bit of useless knowledge in case you were wondering. Sorry for that quick intermission. That gentleman was talking about Continental Engines, Continental was a Detroit-based engine company that built a lot of engines for World War II vehicles. And he was wondering if the World War II Jeep had a Continental engine. Actually, World War II Jeep has the Willis Overland Go Devil engine in it. but I'm fairly sure that Dodge next to it does have a Continental engine. Anyway, let's keep looking through this amazing museum. I'd like to just give a little pan here just to show the scale of it. There's a lot of just cool variety in here. Someone who's a real enthusiast just decided, I like this car, let's get it in my museum. Look at this. This is a Bantam. Bantam was a Butler, Pennsylvania-based company that actually developed the very first prototypes for the World War II Jeeps. This is obviously not that. They started out by building Austin. So Austin was a British car company. They basically built their own version of the Austin 7, and only later did they build the World War II Jeep prototypes. But they never got. They never got any credit for it. Look at this Crosley right here. This Crosley, this is called an orphan brand. An orphan brand is a brand that doesn't exist anymore. This is a car whose parent company is gone. And this is really a fun car because look at its strange proportions. It's so narrow. It's just like a micro car that's like long, and it's really strange. Actually, there's a whole chassis for this over here. My God, there's barely any room because of this giant Cadillac. Look at how huge this thing is. Absolutely ridiculous. And these fins, I mean, you get backed into and you get a fin to the back, it's gonna be a bad day. Look at that Austin Healey. Look at how fun that looks. It looks like it's going 100 miles an hour standing still. This is a Nash. People call this the bathtub car because of the sort of the shape of the body, how it just sort of wraps around like this. Nash was known for being one of the first brands to use a unibody design instead of a frame. In fact, there's a Nash right here that I want to show you real quick. We're just going to pass this beautiful fastback Mustang, and we're going to pass this incredible Studebaker Avanti. Let's look at that Mustang right there, huh? Beautiful Avanti here. Oh, look at this. There's so much to talk about. I don't even know what order I should do this in. Look at this. This is a Willys Jeepster, a two-wheel drive Jeep, which is blasphemous at the time. Only, I think, was offered at 2 model years, 1949, 1950, two-wheel drive. It basically shares a lot of parts with the Willys wagon and Willys pickup truck, which actually were also two-wheel drive in some configurations. But anyway, this is the Nash I was talking about, the Nash Metropolitan. This is the small Nash. This was during the, I think this was during the George Romney era. Now, I think he was running the company at the time. Anyway, small cars, unibody cars, efficient cars. We're gonna go look at that Crosley frame, but first I want you to pan over to what looks like a Chrysler Airflow, which was one of the first Chrysler, actually, let's be right back. Yeah, 1935 Chrysler Airflow. This was considered by many to be an ugly car, but it was an aerodynamically designed car during an era where nobody really cared about aerodynamics. I think it looks swell. Let's go over to that Crosley frame real quick. So you remember the Crosley, that Crosley? Well, we have a frame for it. This is the frame and engine for that Crosley station wagon you saw back there, the narrow one. That was a family wagon that you could fit probably 4 or 5 people in, go on a vacation, whatever. But it looks like a toy when you look at its underlying components. The whole concept behind Crosley was just minimize size, just nice and small. Everything is small. The engine, look at how small this engine is. It's like the size from my elbow to the end of my hand. It's so small. And this is a really cool model because it shows the generator. It's all labeled. Generator, you can see exhaust manifold, intake manifold, water pump right here, which is very interesting. You can see the water pump actually runs on the same shaft as the generator here, which is run by the fan belts. Anyway, look at how tiny this is. This is a family car. You should look into Crosley if you don't know much about Crosley, because this is just, everything was just downsized and fun and cool. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up because it's getting long-winded, but there's a couple more cars I gotta show. This is a Curtis sports car. There were only 15 to 20 cars ever sold. You don't know about this car. Maybe you do. I don't know about this car. I think it's beautiful. It's what Jay Leno would refer to as a noble failure. A car that was maybe too good for its time. Look at that blue wagon. Studebaker Wagonaire. I gotta show you this real quick because it's just cool. The Studebaker Wagonaire is famous for one thing. Look at this. It's basically a pickup truck back here in a way. I don't know if you'd call this convertible or a sliding roof, but anyway, you get a complete open top back here. You can load your, I don't know, Ficus or whatever it is that you put back here. It's incredible. This is just a Plymouth Valiant. I once, I drove one of these every single day for an entire winter in Michigan, and it was a mistake. Look at this. This is a Plymouth Voyager, the very first minivan. Lee Iacocca, basically, and Chrysler, they created a segment from nothing. That's such a rare thing to do, to be able to create an entire segment of automobiles from scratch. There was nothing else like this car in 1984 when it debuted. It's basically, they took the K car, which is just a sedan platform, and they just made it a little bit taller, made it a little bit bigger, added sliding doors, and they created a family van out of a car platform. They revolutionized the industry with this. It's amazing. Look how small it is, though. It's still so small compared to a modern car. We're gonna go outside to where they're actually doing test drives. So I want to show you what this museum's all about. Because it's over. This is the last day. We got a Fiero here, Chrysler Laser. Look at this cool old ads, old car parts. This is one of those gas lamps. Before electric headlights, they actually use gas. I think that's what this is here. Look at this. Look at all these people standing in line. Car culture is alive and well, even if this museum is leaving. Here it is, the Zimmerman Automobile Driving Museum. Here it is, a test drive here at the Zimmerman Automobile Driving Museum. It's a Mercury wagon. Look at this, a wood grain, the beautiful, almost like minty green color. It's a little too dark to be minty. Got the surfboard on top. Look at the swag on this thing. And it's got a tailgate in the back. Beautiful chrome bumpers. Oh wow, it's got a third row. You could fit 9 people in this wagon. Isn't that crazy? Look at those cool, like Art Deco-ish design elements. Badge up top, and then the bumper that has these like sort of whatevers. Oh, look at this Fairlane. Look at the fins on this thing. Oh my goodness. This is just a different era of car. Oh wow, it's an automatic.
Push button.
Push button, oh yeah, nice. Power glide. Power flight. They all had their own name for it, didn't they? Yeah, I used to work at Chrysler for a couple of years. Appreciate you giving us a ride here. This is a lot of fun.
Glad I can drive this. Oh, wow. Doesn't want anybody else to.
Okay, these rear windows are incredible. Look at that. My goodness. Amazing. Anyway, that's it. The Zimmerman Automobile Driving Museum. It's gone. By the time you're watching this, it's gone forever. But it's worth celebrating that it existed in the first place. Look at all the joy it's bringing these people today, and think about all the joy it's brought people years and years ago since it started. So, goodbye, Zimmerman Automobile Driving Museum.